Hello all, welcome to MMSC 491 or 691 for winter session 2022. Man, time is flying. First thing is to talk about is how you pronounce my name. Hopefully you can see here. Let's give it a shot. This is a picture of a bow, and that's a picture of a knee. So you put them together, you get Dr. Boney. So very nice to meet you all, and let's get into the course. First of all, the course will look something like this. Obviously, there'll be a course intro video here, which is what you're watching right now. So obviously, that's not on here now. The very first thing I want you to do is to register for Edpuzzle. And Edpuzzle is a system I use to do some of the lecture modules and simulated animations with questions in them. So it's totally free. You're just going to go ahead and click this. And if you click on here, it says register for Edpuzzle here, free. It'll have you go to a site, open it, bam. And it'll look like this. All you basically do, it's already connected to my course, is you're going to hit sign up. If you want to use your UD email, that's perfectly fine. It doesn't really matter which one. That's definitely the easiest one. But you definitely want to do sign up with Edpuzzle, not sign in, because you don't actually have this before. First name, last name, username, password, boom. And then you're going to join the class. And once you're in the class, this is you won't go here very often. You'll access everything from Canvas. So if we go back to the course, let's take a look at what I mean by that. So every chapter is organized with different parts and different videos that I've put together to figure it out. And I will go over the schedule, but I just want to kind of stick on the Edpuzzle thing for a second. So my recommendation would be to go down these in order. And basically there's going to be some sort of, overview, a discussion post in this particular case. We'll get to that. But you'll notice that I have here, first one here is structure of DNA. And you're going to click on that. Since you're already connected to Edpuzzle, you access it right through here. And when you do that, you're going to hit get started. You can make it full screen like this. Now you're not going to be able to hear anything through the computer right now, but when you do this on your own, you will. And if you notice, I'm going to pull the page down. So this is a little bit of a different view. It's a teacher view, but you'll see the exact same thing when you get in this. And it looks like just a regular YouTube video, but it's not. You'll see at the bottom there's these teardrops. And these teardrops are a series of just assessment questions that I would ask you throughout this entire thing to kind of give you an understanding of what you're learning and give you feedback specifically. So if I just hit start right here, now you're not going to be able to hear what he's saying. But to the right, and I can make this a little larger here, there's a little note that says, hey, remember these videos don't count. So as I kind of go through this, or I should say, as you go through this, you will have these questions that you're going to be doing all the way across. So for example, once you read this, you would just hit continue. And the video is going to keep going. And again, you're going to reach a spot where you're going to get to this little dot right here, you'll see. Boom. And then, of course, there'll be some kind of note. Here's another note. Sometimes there's questions in there. So these are all... Here's another one as well you'll use later on. You can just kind of see here as this, I'm talking, you can't hear me, but you will on your end. And then once it gets to this little teardrop in a couple seconds or so, it'll ask you, bam, a question like that. So literally in the middle of this thing with me teaching, I can ask you questions. What would the new RNA sequence be from left to right? I'm randomly just going to choose one here. Let's just see. And then hit submit, and instantly you're going to go, oh, gee, I got it right. So it'll be obviously green if you got it right, it'll be red if you got it wrong. So this is just instant feedback for you, and you hit continue and go to like the next one. Now you're going to see me here fast forwarding these things that you won't be able to do. The first time you watch this, you have to watch them all the way through. And then after the first time, you can rewatch them as many times as you want, and you can, skip around. So let's see what this one does. Once again, bam. And so there's another question. Let me just pick valine. There we go. Good. Oh, got it wrong. Bam. And it tells you the right one. So my suggestion of order of operations is to watch these Edpuzzle videos first. There, for example, on the first part of section 1.1, there's structure, DNA replication, and transcription translation overview. Watch those first, because they're all about section 1.1. Then you get to the thing that says 1.1, and you're going to have either a video or an audio PowerPoint, not made by me, but these are ones that were made by the people who designed the initial part of the course. I'm slowly adding more and more Edpuzzles in. So this is more of your standardized PowerPoint with verbiage behind it. And it would help a lot for you to do the Edpuzzles first. Now remember, the Edpuzzles are not graded for a grade. They're here to help you learn. Many of these are my voice. They're all my questions. Some are not. So this is kind of the collection of where things are. So if we go back, let's just kind of now organize this here. And you can kind of get the good sense of what you're doing. You would then go through, obviously there's chapter 1, as you can see here, there's chapter 2, there's chapter 3, and there's chapter 4. Those are all the sections that are going to be on the first exam. If you want to see the exam study guide, here it is. This is a very, very specific list of what basically is on the test. It's not a trick question. There's 50 to 60 questions, multiple choice. These are 100% terms you're going to see on the exam. Some of these involve more than one question. So to help with the understanding of a lot of these things, for example, methods of amplification and identification of nucleic acids, that's a pretty big topic. These would be the questions that you would want to know to help with all of those things at the top. Some are pretty quick, like SNP, single nucleotide polymorphism. Some are longer. But that is stuff that's going to help you for the exam. So that's kind of like one unit. So in terms of a unit, how's this course going to work? If we go here to the syllabus, let me pull this out real quick. You can, read all this stuff, on your own. I'm going to get to the parts that matter. You absolutely must have this book. You may find a free copy of this book online. I've seen that there's a PDF of it somewhere, or you may want a physical copy of the book, but you absolutely must. And in terms of how I know that, I'm going to show you something. This is part of a course survey that I gave the last semester of class, because last semester was the first time I took over this course. And I asked the students a lot of questions, and this particular question was, how critical is reading the textbook to success in the class? 1 is not at all necessary. 3 is kind of necessary, and 5 is absolutely critical. So you can see that your own students have responded back that this is absolutely critical, and it is. I cannot stress for you enough that I know that there's so many classes that you don't even have a textbook, or do you use one. This is definitely an exception to that. You absolutely you have to have the textbook, and you have to read it. But let's talk about why and how that happens in a few minutes. So there's the textbook. Going down the list, these are all the things that you need to know. Here's all the grading scale. Here's how you are graded. And this is probably the most important part of the entire thing for you. So let's just spend a second on this. This is when everything is due. I've organized this over winter session for, kind of like by units. And so, this is a lot of information. So hopefully you're not taking another course, because this class is going to take some serious time. So your job basically would be by the end of week 1, which is January 9th, 11:59, that you have completed both quiz 1, quiz 2, and discussion 1 and discussion 2, and read and learned chapters 1 and 2. That's kind of how that works. And then going down the list, obviously 3 and 4. So I do this to keep you paced so that you don't try to, study the night before the exam. This is not the type of course to do that with. The actual exam online for the first one, it's the 15th to the 16th. It doesn't matter to me which day you take it. So this is your schedule of everything you need to do for the whole winter session, very, very clearly organized. Okay? So now let's take a look at the rest of the course and the book and whatnot. So where does the book come into play with all this? I'm just going to give you a recommendation based on the students who did very well in the course. The recommendation, again, is to watch the Edpuzzles first. Go ahead and then do the, not as exciting, but a little more fundamental PowerPoint of that section. Finish the whole chapter and then read chapter 1 and take notes on that. And how do you know what you should be focusing on when you're reading chapter 1? You would go to the exam study guide to know exactly what you should be studying for with that. Now, again, where are things that, what's your list of assignments that are due by when? If you click on assignments, here's basically everything in order. So you can see here that this is all of your assignments in order. I would access them this way. I would not go to the discussions page. Sometimes that, yeah, for example, notice 6 is gone. So I would definitely go to the assignments page to complete all of your assignments. And, for example, discussion 1, here it is. What do you hope to learn from this course? I will respond to almost all of these. I may not respond every single week. There's a lot of you in this class. I know that even in my spring course, I have over 70 students. I don't even know how many are in winter. But I will respond from the grading page, and so that should help you. So this is kind of how the course is organized. And the last thing I want to talk about right now, you have plenty to go on. I don't like to make videos any longer than 15 minutes because, I don't think I can pay attention to something, more than 15 minutes, which is why I added the Edpuzzles, because some of your PowerPoint lectures they made are pretty long. So the last thing is right here. If you want a free 5 points added to your first exam, you are going to go ahead and complete this. This is a Respondus Lockdown Browser quiz. I am making sure that of course I'm the teacher, so this isn't going to work for me, but once you go in here, you are going to, of course it's January 3rd. Once it's January 3rd, you'll be able to get in. It will set up your Respondus, and Respondus is an online proctoring software that records your screen, key movements, everything, to make sure that there's no cheating going on. So I want to make sure that this system works before you take your exam. I don't want you to sit down for your first exam and try to have this Respondus software and something goes wrong and you're freaking out emailing me. Let's make sure that this is all set up before your exam. So if you do this between January 3rd and the 14th, I will add 5 points to your first exam. And so hopefully this has been a fairly clear organization for you of what I want. Everything is laid out in order. Everything is very clear from the syllabus. Just go right down the line with all the modules and right down the line with your assignments. You should be good to go. I will be sending out many emails, and I will be, again, anytime that you guys want any sort of help, feel free to email me, set up a Zoom. That's a very common thing that I do with a lot of students, because I will say this course is a pretty tough course and it has a lot of information in it, it's important that you stay on top of this. So on that, Dr. B signing off, and good luck.